House number 6 is the Autrey Williams home. It is located at 717 North Street, but faces East Court Street. It is on the W.C. Gibbs Abstract, Track 37. W.M. Parker built this lovely home in 1912. Its style has been described as typical neoclassical Victorian plantation. It was modeled after the Malbus Plantation near Mobile, Alabama. It is wood frame, 2-story with center passage plan. It is on pier and beam. The windows are wood sash. There are 2 entries with transom and side lights, a gable roof with box eaves. The front porch is 118 feet long and 12 feet wide. It has over 6,000 square feet living space. Owner David Houes tells more about this lovely house.
The history of Newton County is deeply connected to the pine forests, or as we locals call it, the woods. The Autrey Williams house tells a story of that connection. The vast old-growth longleaf pine forest covered much of the southeast United States, and early businessmen like John Kirby quickly recognized the value of this natural resource. But with Newton being deep within these woods and the Sabine River being the only means of commerce, growth in the county was slow. The arrival of the railroad to Newton in 1906 allowed timber and goods to be exported much quicker than just the river, and Newton soon began to see the largest growth spurt in its history. Latimer Autrey, a turpentine executive, moved to Newton in 1910 to take advantage of this pine forest and the opportunities it presented. He based the turpentine collection and production operations of the Western Naval Stores Company in Newton, and his company employed over 750 men collecting sap from the trees and processing it into turpentine. He also co-owned the first auto dealership in Newton, was president of the bank, and served as postmaster for the nearby town of Turpentine, now long gone. In 1912, on a plot of 40 acres, he built the house that the Newton News called at the time one of Southeast Texas' finest country homes. With its own sewerage and electric plant for a cost of $5,000. The house is built of old-growth longleaf pine, sourced from the same forest that provided the opportunity for its construction. It has elements of classical and Victorian architecture, leaded glass windows and transoms, and a total of 12 rooms and 4 fireplaces. Local history says that the house was damaged by fire shortly after its completion, but quickly rebuilt. The Autrey family lost a son, L.M. Jr., that same year, and he's buried in the city cemetery a few blocks from the house. In 1918, the Autrey family sold the house and soon left East Texas. L.M. Autrey would go on to become the mayor of Orlando, Florida. The next owner of the house was N.A. Dawson, a contractor of note who built the Sabine County Courthouse. He only owned the home until 1923, and it was purchased by Thomas Williams, who was a well-known businessman who owned timberland and sawmills throughout southeast Texas. He and his wife would go on to raise a family in the house, and the house stayed in their family after their deaths, passing to their daughter and son-in-law. In the mid-20th century, the last of the old-growth longleaf forests were harvested, and today, no old-growth longleaf remains in the county. The home was sold to Shelley Hilliard in 1979, who served as county attorney for almost 20 years, and who completed the first major restoration of the home, and owned it when it was added to the roster of Texas Historic Landmarks. The Hilliards lived in the home, and Shelley would operate his law practice and title company out of the home. In the 1990s, the home was sold and passed through the hands of the Roush, Dussett-Slager, and Carpel families, and was purchased by its current owner in July 2011, who embarked on its second major restoration. The home has seen its share of hurricanes. However, the roof had been damaged by Hurricane Rita and Ike in 2005 and 2008. The house again stood strong, taking no structural damage. Over its history, the old longleaf pine moldings had been painted many colors as fashions came and went throughout the 20th century. The original longleaf floors have been restored, the molding stripped and sanded to reveal the glow of the old-growth longleaf pine, and hopefully the Autrey Williams house will stand for another century to tell a part of the story of Newton County and the pine forest it was carved out of.
Feel free to read more about the house on its Texas historical marker located in the front. It was designated a recorded Texas historic landmark in 1980 and was listed in the National Register of Historic Places on January 29, 2013.